Greetings. I'm Sister Michelle, the coordinator for the Life Skills for Mission. And today, our presenter is Father Johnathan. And he's talking about, his topic today is on self-knowledge and conflict management. Father Johnathan.
Thank you, Sister Michelle. Good morning, my sisters. I'm Father Johnathan, a priest working in the Diocese of Fort Wayne. My sister, are you connected?
And I'm sharing the screen now. Go ahead.
Okay,
you can see it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm seeing you, yeah. My sisters, our vocation is a call from God, and every divine call is for a mission. Because He called you, He has also chosen and appointed you for His mission. As we may know, every mission has mandate, and God's mandate for us is to love one another. Because God is love, the most important lesson He wants us to learn on earth is how to love. It is in loving that we are most like Him. So, love is the foundation of every command He has given us. But then, how can we love enough if we lack self-knowledge and the emotional maturity to manage conflicts of our life, which will come our way from time to time? It is in the light of the above highlights that I will lead you in these 20 minutes mind-searching talk to reflect deeper than ever on conflict management and your self-knowledge. There is no doubt that the future leadership of your highly revered congregation reside within and among you. For this reason, it becomes imperative that having a sound self-knowledge will help you to be more active and productive in contributing your service quotas, the needed peace and unity, which will spur sound and effective managerial and leadership skills required from each one of you as a congregation member. Sound self-knowledge will enable you to serve God in your fellow sisters with mutual love and respect, and help you to maintain emotional balance in managing the conflicts that may come your way. This will help you to sustain your position as God's children, working towards achieving your heavenly goals. And the fundamental question here is, what do we mean by conflict? Conflict is defined as an incompatibility of goals or values between two or more parties in a relationship, combined with attempts to control each other and the antagonistic feelings towards each other. This is almost like daily occurrence among sisters in some religious communities. Yours may be one. Because we are social beings, born not to exist alone, we are welded into social families with other persons. For instance, every one of your religious communities is also a social family where you share your life with your fellow sisters. This makes it imperative for us to have a clear understanding that conflicts are existential phenomena which we will experience often until death. However, we must be meditatively observant to know when conflict arises and be humble enough to resolve it. There are 5 phases of conflict. First, the prelude to conflict. This involves the possible factors that may cause conflicts among a group of people or individuals. These factors include, but not limited to, lack of coordination, differences in interest, cultural differences, religion, educational background, and many more. 2, triggering event. This refers to what event that may ignite conflict to start. For instance, a bad comment of an individual in a group or community could trigger a conflict that may take away the needed peace in that given environment. 3, initiation phase. This refers to when the conflict has begun. This may include physical fight, heated arguments, and so on. This will begin the conflict and probably allow it to spread like a wildfire if not effectively managed. 4, differentiation phase. This is a phase when individuals voice their own opinions and differences against each other. This is the phase where reasons for conflicts are raised and individuals take sides. And the 5th is resolution phase. At this phase, individuals now realize and seek a way to resolve whatever conflict they may have as unresolved. Conflicts which impedes both individual peace and does no good to anyone. Conflict, like a thief, frustrates and denies individuals the enjoyment of true peace that should exist in their life and environment. Therefore, we must do everything possible to avoid the rising of conflict, and if for whatever reason conflicts becomes unavoidable, mature steps should be taken to resolve it as soon as possible. Sources of conflict. Kerr proposed that there are 3 main phases that lead to conflict. Number 1 is economic conflict. When resources are limited, individuals or groups of people can undergo a conflict to try and secure the most for themselves. This leads to what we may call survival of the fittest, which will always evoke conflicts. This happens sometimes in different religious communities, and it is always a painful experience whenever it happens. 2, value conflicts. This involves what we call because incompatibility in ways of life, ideologies, preferences, principles, and practices that people believe in. All the above leads to who is right or wrong, who is superior or inferior. Then the 3rd is power conflict. This refers to when each party wishes to maintain or maximize the amount of influence that it exerts in the relationship and the social setting. We call it power tussle or power conflict, which usually occurs between individuals, groups, or even between nations. It is also a common experience in some religious communities. Fisher added that ineffective communication is another source of conflict. He asserts that miscommunication and misunderstanding can create conflict even where there are no basic incompatibilities. Therefore, it is very important for us to improve on our communication skills in order to be coherent and avoid creating unnecessary doubt or misunderstanding which may arise from our poor communication. Apparently, we could manage conflicts better if only we have sound self-knowledge. What is self-knowledge? In psychology, self-knowledge is seen as the actual genuine information a person possesses about him or herself, which includes information about our emotional states, personality traits, relationships, behavioral patterns, opinions, values, needs, goals, preferences, and social identity. A deep gaze into our inner self will give us better insight into what we really are. Benefits of self-knowledge. Evidently, there are many benefits for sound self-knowledge. Having self-knowledge is key to being an effective community member, and that will as well lead us to attain self-actualization. Self-actualization simply means being able to realize that true self you have always desired. However, it is through a conscious effort and cooperating with all the resources available for you developing your human potentials. Having a sound self-knowledge will help you to amend or work on the aspects of you that do not meet the required standard for religious life or the standard base for your congregation. Self-knowledge is essential for your healthy function, since a sound knowledge of yourself will lead you to realistic decision-making concerning aspects of your own life. Schaffner believes there are 5 reasons self-knowledge is essential for our psychological growth. First, it satisfies the desire to learn and make sense of experiences. It prevents discord between self-perception and others' perception of us. It emancipates us from the irrational whims of our unconscious self. It facilitates proactive responses rather than reactivity. It is a necessary first step for positive change. Sources of self-knowledge. Wilson gives 5 sources that contribute to self-knowledge as follows. First, the physical world. This category refers to physical information like height, width, eye color, and so on. Second, social comparisons. This source of self-knowledge is acquired through comparing ourselves with other people, with some better than us. Third, reflected appraisals. This source is acquired from other people's evaluation of us. It is seeing ourselves through the lenses of other people. Fourth, the introspection. This source of self-knowledge is obtained through inner reflection on our thoughts, feelings, motives, and desires. It is an inward assessment of oneself. And the fifth is self-perception. Through this category of self-knowledge, we gain more insights about ourselves through self-observation and examination of our own behaviors. My sisters, no one can claim to be totally complete in life. We all are wounded individuals who need the grace of God every day to balance up our weaknesses in order to manage well the conflict that may come our way. This will help us to build communities where love and mutuality is celebrated every day. Self-knowledge and conflict management. There are different ways to deal with the issue of incompatibilities that may arise in our communities. Conflict is believed to be an inevitable fact of human existence, and if we work relentlessly to understand it and manage it well, that will help us improve both the satisfaction and productivity of our social relationship in our communities. For this to be achieved, we all need some self-knowledge and being objective in dealing with issues and conflicts of life. This will help us to manage both our strengths and weaknesses in a more productive manner in order to enable us to contribute to the peace that is so desired both in our lives and in our communities. It is a true saying that no one can give what he or she does not have. Therefore, in order to find joy and be a source of joy also for your fellow sisters in your communities, you must go deeper in self-knowledge, as that will help you to regulate your emotional overflow in dealing with conflicts. When we grow more in self-knowledge, that will help us to be proactive, and we pave way for our positive self-development. It will enable us to see things not only from our own subjective view, but also from the perspective of others, thereby enabling us to practice self-control and be more proactive. There is no doubt that the above will help us to manage conflicts as they come to us. Self-knowledge could also lead us to making good decisions in every event of life. And when we make good decisions, that will lead us to experiencing peace and harmony within ourselves and around others. Making good decisions enhances effective conflict management. Self-knowledge can make us better communicators in our communities and help us develop self-confidence in dealing with relational issues and task responsibilities. Sometimes we may lack the power of self-expression due to lack of self-confidence. But if we have self-confidence, that will help us to express ourselves clearly in any situation or circumstances. By so doing, we could manage conflicts of interest more effectively. Ways to increase self-knowledge. There are steps we can adopt to increase our self-knowledge. Number one, seeking spiritual direction. Having a well-directed retreat or spiritual direction could be a good means of achieving self-knowledge. Going for mental health counseling may also help us gain better insight into our actual self. Maintaining a regular physical exercise, this could be a great means of gaining mental alertness, thereby not allowing anxiety and poor mood to impede our being proactive, but being able to sustain interpersonal relationship. Building good relationship, maintaining a healthy relationship with our sisters and other people around you could be a yardstick to compare and objectively assess your behavior, thereby gaining a better understanding of yourself When we have good relationship with people around us, we can trust their judgment in describing our own behavior. And through that, we can gain self-knowledge. Fourth, practicing mindfulness and meditation. This is maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensation, and surrounding environment for a better knowledge of self and inner harmony. Those who practice mindfulness and meditation have always gained better understanding of the self, and that has been the secret for their functioning effectively. I am confident that when we practice the mentioned self-knowledge skills regularly, we are bound to achieve greater success in understanding our thoughts and emotional self better, thereby living a fulfilled life, and will be sufficiently able to manage conflicts better as they come. My dearly beloved sisters, life is an opportunity. Benefit from it. Life is beauty. Admire it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Life is a challenge. Meet it. Life is a promise. Fulfill it. Life is sorrow. Overcome it. Life is a song. Sing it. Life is a struggle. Accept it. Life is a tragedy. Confront it. Life is an adventure. Dare it. Life is luck. Make it. Life is too precious. Do not destroy it. Life is life. Fight for it. Words of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And my two questions for you, dear sisters, are: how much do you know about your emotional self? What will be the best method for you in resolving conflict? Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Father Johnathan.
Thank you, Sister Michelle.
Excuse me. We
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing with us some information, but also some practical aspects of how to deal with conflict in our lives. As you said, it's inevitable. It's part of human nature. It's because we're not perfect. And because of that, we all need to develop those skills that help us in addressing issues with each other. Especially when we live in community, especially when we share the same space, we share the same prayer space and the same eating space and recreational space. So thank you so much for your wisdom and for your information and for your time today.
Thank you, sister. I thank you for teaching me. I've learned a lot from you.
Okay, certainly.